Hello traders, and welcome to Trading the Trend. I am Dennis, and this is my weekend report for week ending May 27th. And here we're looking at the S&P 500, and of course last week we had the doji that kind of ended this 3-week downtrend, and then this past week we had that beautiful up week. Big up candle, and we finished right at the high. Anytime you can finish at a weekly high, that's always a good sign. So as you can see, the all-time high, which happened just over a year ago, is not very far away. If we get another candle like this, we will be at an all-time high in the S&P. So maybe we can get that last rally up before everybody goes on vacation for the summer. So that's what I'm hoping for. Now let's look at some commodities. Gold has not been doing so good for us. Looking at the gold miners, we were in 3 weeks of inside candles after that big move up, and then this past week we broke below that candle. As I've shown you in the past, a lot of times the final candle in a move up will be your biggest move, and sure enough, this candle here was the biggest move of this up move, and that seems to be the top, and it's moving back down now. How far down it goes, time will tell. We'll see if we can find some support. Hopefully we don't retrace this entire move up. Gold, the actual metal, pretty much the same way. It's broken this big candle here, so it's looking kind of bearish, at least short term. Oil, on the other hand, is still creeping its way up. It's not making big moves, so we can't tell if this is an exhaustion rally or not, but it's just continuing to creep up. We're about to hit that line of resistance that I have drawn out here, so wouldn't be surprised to see price get there and then pull back before it tries to push through. But still, our target is for this line, and then after that we'll be looking for the $60 range. So things are still bullish for oil. Now let's look at some currencies. First, we'll take a look at my strong week rankings. The British pound continues to be strong. Probably the biggest gainer of the week was the CAD. It had been pretty weak, but it's had a pretty good week, and it's kind of fought back against the U.S. dollar. So we'll definitely be looking at that. Now let's look at some currency pairs. Here we have the euro, U.S. dollar. And as you can see, this is a weekly chart. We had the nice pin bar reversal from 4 weeks ago, and it's just been 3 steady weeks downward. And if we look at this on the daily, we can see that it's been a nice stepping pattern, and we've gotten right down here to the 200-day moving average where price stopped. I did take profits here, as I would expect price maybe to pull back off of that 200 before moving down, and that's been the pattern. We'll get the down candle, a couple days of pullback, big down candle. Here we had 3 days of pullback, big down candle, a couple days of pullback, big down candle. That's been the pattern, so I'd be looking for a couple pullback days before we try to push through that 200-day moving average. Looking at the Aussie US dollar, the Aussie's been very weak here, and we continue to move lower. We've actually had 6 down candles in a row here. If you look at this on the daily, we've broken through that 200-day moving average, and we're sitting here just below it. It's kind of consolidating right here, so I'd be looking for this thing to, it could make a bigger pullback before heading lower. I have a first target zone is down here below 0.70. Then if we can get through that, then I'll have a second target zone below 0.69. So this thing could have a ways to go to the downside. Now looking at the, let's go back to the weekly chart and then look at the euro, US dollar, or excuse me, the euro Aussie is what I want to look at. There it is. And this one's kind of interesting. We've had the morning star pattern here that gave us a big up week, but then for 3 weeks in a row we've just gone sideways, and this kind of looks like it wants to roll over and head back down. It's kind of been, you have a leg down, leg up, leg down. Maybe this is the end of this leg up and our next leg is to the downside. But if you look at this on the daily, we've had 3 weeks tight consolidation here. But if we are to move down, we have a 200-day moving average to get through. We also have this line of support at 152.50. You also have the 34-day moving average, which is going to come into play right there. So if this thing is to move lower, there's a lot of areas of support that's got to get through. So maybe not the best one to be shorting right here. Even if it does move lower, it's going to have rough goings. Last one I want to look at is the Euro pound. Let's first look at this on the weekly. We had the nice reversal candle here, and it's been a good trade to the downside. But the problem is I'm not in it right now. As you can see on the daily, it traced out a beautiful head and shoulders top. I had actually identified it after this break, and then I was hoping that we could get a pullback to that neckline, and that's where I was going to short it. I had a short entry sitting there, but I got within 15 pips of my trigger price, but then price reversed before it got there, so I got left at the station. I didn't get into this trade, so kind of painful to miss this one. It's been such a beautiful move down. We're starting to pull back here. Don't know if we'll get a big enough pullback to justify an entry, but I'm definitely looking for another entry. You do have the 200-day moving average sitting right here that could give some support. So, maybe if we pull back enough, it might justify an entry, and then look for a pullback once it hits this 200. But we'll just have to see how far this thing wants to move lower for us. But it's been a pretty good trade if you're able to get in up here. Anyway, that's what I have for you. Hopefully everybody has a great and safe holiday weekend. I will catch you later.